Apologizing is fake, it's insincere. You should only apologize when you wrong somebody.
All right, here we are with Tom Zaimes, the one and only. Thank you for coming today. I appreciate it.
My man.
I love cutting your hair because every time I cut your hair, I feel like I learned something new.
I'm honored to be here, and I'm grateful for those words.
Like I remember the last time we were talking, we were having a conversation in a cafe. We were talking about cutting your hair, shaving your head, and on the TV, there was an infomercial about shaving your head.
Yeah.
Remember that tool?
Yeah.
And you said, use that means something.
That's a sign.
The environment, look at the environment, and that means something.
Yep, that's a sign. We were talking about it. You were telling me an idea, whatever, long story short.
Yeah.
And then we were talking about, what were the details of that? We were talking about the shaved head. I can't remember why. That's not important.
We were talking about shaving your head and how particular you are with I think you know every piece of hair in your head.
Oh, that's right.
Your hair is the easiest to cut, but it's the hardest.
Yeah, it's the hardest?
Yes.
Why is it the hardest?
Because you are very particular about all the hairs and shadows. Like you have some crevices here. We have to make sure there's no shadows.
I do have a lot of crevices.
Yes.
On my head.
And you're aware of them.
I'm aware of them now. I went my whole life without knowing that they were there. And had no idea.
Now that your hair is short, you can see them.
Now you can see it. I had no idea what my skull looked like, and I had no idea all the goofy crevices and undulations that I've got on my skull that I'm aware of now. So yeah, thanks for reminding me about that.
Of course.
And it creates shadows. But yeah, we were having that conversation, and you have some business ideas.
Yes.
And as we were talking, on the TV behind us was an ad for that head shaver.
Yes.
That was definitely confirmation.
What's crazy is ever since that time, I've had more incidences like that. I'll give you another example. I was sitting with my daughter on the couch in my house. So she's 13 and she doesn't come near me as often as she used to. But this time she was. While she was sitting next to me, I got 2 text messages from my mom of me and my daughter the first time I was cutting her hair. And she called me after she sent them and asked me, did you receive the text? I'm like, Tiona's sitting right next to me. You couldn't have sent it any better time.
Yep. And now you're on the lookout.
Yeah, so subconsciously, I'm not looking out at consciously, but subconsciously, I'm starting to put things like that together, whereas I would never think about it before.
Yeah.
You know?
It's on your radar.
Yeah, it's on my radar.
They call that the reticular activating system.
Right.
The RAS. And, you know, for the people that need a scientific explanation of spiritual things that take place, a lot of people need that. RAS, reticular activating system.
Yeah, I've heard of that before.
Yeah, check it out.
So, like, if you have a goal and you're super passionate about getting it, you start seeing it in the environment. Like, for example, you want a new car. Mm-hmm. And you've never noticed a car before, but all of a sudden you're starting to notice it on the street more often.
Right.
Because your subconscious mind is looking for that car.
Yeah.
So you're starting to notice it more, and it was always there.
It was always there.
It was always there, but now you're finally taking notice.
Yep.
So that's very powerful.
It happens all the time.
So if you could use that to help propel you towards goals, it could be even more.
That's right.
More better.
Yeah.
Use it to your advantage.
Yes. So yeah, that was amazing when that happened with the guy doing the shave right as you were telling me. That was supreme confirmation.
Yep.
Right there.
Yeah, it was cool.
You could feel that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, I started noticing it more in the environment after that, since you told me that.
That's right.
To look at the environment for clues.
Look for the clues, right. Everything's communicating with you, you know?
So another big point you talk about, I follow you on your Instagram channel, you always talk about being authentic, being yourself. What can you say to our viewers on how to be more authentic?
How to be more authentic.
If they want to find their new job, or if they want to stay in their or if they want to find a new career, or any troubles they may be having, being authentic would help, no?
It's always best to be real. When in doubt, always be real, right?
Right.
And society's made it very difficult for us to be real and to express ourselves authentically for many different reasons. But, you know, it's always best to be real, your realest self. You know,
so how does society prevent us from being real? What do they do that I don't even realize? Like, what are some things you can point out to me?
I mean, certain opinions, you know, for one, that, you know, I had many opinions that were unpopular a few years ago that got me canceled by people and whatnot. So it's not easy to share unpopular opinions, right? If you're into certain things and certain truths of the matter, it's not easy to speak truth in this society. They've made it so that you're punished for it.
Now, I remember you, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
But this was on the top of my head. I remember you saying in your Instagram videos, don't say sorry.
Yeah.
All the time.
People are apologizing way too much.
Just do what you're doing. You don't have to apologize.
Yeah, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. People are walking around apologizing, over-apologizing constantly. You should never apologize unless you've wronged somebody. That is the time to apologize to somebody if you've wronged them. But what I see is people apologizing all over the place to, you know, for everything. You know, I remember when Tiger Woods did his little infidelity and all that, and he was, you know, apologizing to everybody in the world. And I'm looking at that, I'm like, you know, the only person he should really be truly apologizing to is his wife. And it just looked pathetic. It's fake. That's also fake. Over-apologizing is fake. It's insincere. You should only apologize when you wrong somebody.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like, so if you cut somebody in line, you don't need to say I'm sorry. Is that a good example or no?
No, I said if you wrong somebody.
So I wrong somebody if I cut you in
someone in line, you say you're sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
But if I'm taking a long time to get let's say I'm at the coffee shop and it's taking forever to get my coffee.
Okay.
I don't have to say I'm sorry.
To who?
Anybody behind me.
No.
It's their problem.
Yeah, you didn't do nothing. Right.
If a mom brings a crying kid to the shop and the kid's crying, she doesn't need to be sorry. It's the kid crying. Right?
That's funny. A little snot just came out of my nose right there. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, the mother sometimes speaks on behalf of the baby that's crying, so that's a possible scenario where she could apologize if she feels it. But at the same time, she would be fine not apologizing.
That's right.
Yeah.
That'll keep her character intact.
Keep her character intact, you know?
That's cool, because I'm a parent and my kids could be bouncing off the walls and I can't, you know, in public.
Right.
I can't be saying I'm sorry every 2 seconds.
Right.
These are my kids and they're going to do what they're going to do.
And here's the proper way to say you're sorry. You actually don't say I'm sorry. You say I apologize.
What's the difference?
Well, the difference is sorry is just, it's just different. It's a different vibration to it. An apology is very sincere. I'm sorry is more of like a feeling. And then you're also affirming that, right? If you're walking around, like if you're walking down the street and you almost bump into someone, you're better off saying, pardon me or excuse me.
Right.
Because you're saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry is like, I'm pathetic. I'm weak. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm weak, I'm pathetic, right?
Interesting.
You're walking around and you're affirming that as well. So there's a lot to this whole situation. But if you wrong somebody, you should apologize to them. I apologize. That's sincere, you know. How about you? When people tell you, oh, I'm sorry, it doesn't feel powerful, does it?
No.
Not like, oh,
There's no powerfulness at all.
Yeah.
At least not for me. I never really thought about it.
Yeah.
But now that I am thinking about it. So we'll use a coffee shop as an example.
Okay.
You know, if the person turns around and says, I'm sorry, we're just going to blow it off. Be like, yeah, we're okay. We just get your coffee now and just move on.
Yeah.
We don't need to.
Yeah, you sorry piece of crap.
Right. We don't need to go into a conversation here on why you're so sorry.
Yeah.
Just get your coffee and move on.
Yeah. Because sorry is like, you know, oh, that person's a sorry individual, right? That's not something you want to walk around saying a lot, all day. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I read an awesome Facebook post today. An 80-year-old guy was at McDonald's this morning.
Yeah.
And it was taking long for him to get his order in. And the car behind him was honking and getting pissed off. So he winds up paying for her behind him. He pays the bill and takes the receipt. Tells the lady, listen, I'll pay for her. And I'll just take the receipt. We'll go to the next window. He goes to the next window, shows the 2 receipts, takes her food and drives off. So now she has to go back. So she knew that she got paid for. She said thank you. When he goes to the next window, he takes her food and drives off. So she took the compliment up front.
Yeah.
And then he winds up taking the food and drives off. And now she has to go back around the line again and start over again.
So the guy that paid for her food took her food too.
Took her food, paid for it.
Yeah.
She acknowledged him. Oh, thank you. You're so nice.
Yeah.
And then winds up driving off with her food.
Wow.
Isn't that awesome?
That's great. And then she had to get back in line and buy her own food.
She had to go back around McDonald's building and start over again.
Wow.
Because she couldn't wait. I thought that was a brilliant move.
Yeah. I haven't eaten McDonald's in over 20 years.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole other podcast, huh? Okay.
Let's talk about keeping it real here.
Okay.
So, in your opinion, how could somebody be more like authentic? What do you recommend? Because you do coaching as well, right?
Yeah.
You coach people?
Yeah. Yeah, I coach people.
So what are like the top 3 things someone could take away with after watching this haircut and on how they could be more real and authentic so they could thrive in their relationships, in their careers, and whatever else they want to do?
Yeah. Well, you got to be honest. You got to be honest with yourself, for one. We lie to ourselves a lot. So being honest, self-aware and honest with yourself is one thing. Being honest with others. Being honest with others. You know, if you're in a relationship, you have a husband or wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, you need to communicate honestly. Right? So if there's a problem, there's no way you're going to be able to fix it if you're lying to yourself about it, right? Pretending like it's not there and not saying anything. You know, a lot of times I hear people complain about their significant other, and I say, well, did you bring it up? And they say, oh, no, not yet. I say, well, if you don't bring it up, nothing's going to happen. You have to have a conversation.
Can't bury it.
Can't bury it. And you know, if you have gripes with your significant other and you're not saying anything about it because you're afraid of this uncomfortable conversation or them being mad, then, you know, you're not doing yourself any justice either. Right?
Okay.
So you're being phony to them and you're being phony to yourself. You're pretending like everything's fine and everything's not fine.
So it's like a domino effect.
It's a domino effect. Yeah.
You know, if you just seems like if that will affect one thing after another thing, after another thing, and then you wind up becoming confused.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what the hell's going on? How do we wind up in this place?
Right.
Go all the way back.
Trace it back.
Trace it back.
You have two people that possibly would have never even have gotten together if they were both putting their real self forward. You know, like in dating, everyone shows up on the first date and, you know, how real are they, right? Mm-hmm. Putting your best foot forward.
Yep.
Are you exaggerating things?
That could be a whole nother podcast.
That's a whole other podcast too.
The first date.
The first date, yeah. So, you know, if you meet somebody, right, whether it's work related or love, and, you know, you enter a relationship, you know, whether it's a partnership in a business or boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, mm-hmm. If you're not real with them, then it's based on a false premise. And that's a recipe for disaster.
Wow.
Yeah. Everything fake will crumble and everything real will flourish. That's a mantra for everyone at home to remember moving forward. This applies to all things. If you have a big decision coming up, you need to do something, you got to keep it real.
All right, so you are on Instagram, you do coaching. How could our viewers find you if they want to follow you? What is your Instagram?
Instagram, yeah, Tom Zaimes. I should pop right up, TomZaimes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Come check me out. Check out my videos. Let me know what you think. We'll be doing future haircuts, I have a feeling here.
Cool. So how do you like your haircut?
I love my haircut.
Are all the hairs in place?
All my hairs are in place. Even the white ones.
A little.
Do you see this a lot?
What's that?
This birthmark thingy, whatever this is?
I see everything.
No, I mean on other people.
Here?
Or is it, yeah.
Yeah, we have those.
We have those. What is that? Like, what does that signify? Do you know?
No, it's just an area where your hair has no pigmentation. It could have possibly been a pimple before. It could have been hereditary.
Okay.
Could be many reasons.
Many reasons.
But have you just noticed it since you went short, or is it as you got older you got it?
I've noticed it a long time ago. I can't remember how young I was, but once I started going short, I remembered it being there. But I don't know if it was there from when I was a kid. So
it's nothing to worry about.
Nothing to worry about. All right, I got
You're
the stamp of approval.
Well, I appreciate you coming out for the haircut.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. You dropped some bombs.
Always a fun conversation here with you, Dennis.
Love to have you back again.
Absolutely.
Check you out in the next episode of BarberUpp Podcast. Thank you for watching. Peace.
Peace.